Mbuju Ginawa, Minawa, Dinamai Maganaduck, Shavaway Quay Indigenous Cause, Makwa and Dudame, Gojijing and Junjaba, Skigmizigigi Siswa, Piningi Tabishka. My name is Tara Houska. I'm Bear Clan from Couchiching First Nation, and I'm actually calling in from the shore of Lake Superior, one of our beautiful, powerful Great Lakes that we are trying to defend and protect. I'm sitting in a car right now because I actually just got done doing a water ceremony with a bunch of women by the side of Lake Superior and also at one of the proposed Line 3 worksite locations where they've brought in a series of trailers housing the workers that are set to build Line 3 is a massive tar sands pipeline coming out of Alberta. So we were just putting down our blessings and our prayers at one of the man camps. I know that the topic is class and feminism. I was thinking about that today and yesterday and leading up to this. Feminism is always a hard one for me to wrap my mind around just because our people, Anishinaabe people, are matriarchal people. And feminism is a concept that it's just something that's ingrained deeply into our systems of the balancing the masculine and the feminine. It is a balancing act. And right now, with the way that we see things happening and all these changes that are occurring in nature and occurring among the people and these uprisings that we're seeing in this narrative of violence against the earth, violence against each other, is a recognition and a reflection of that imbalance, the imbalance of the masculine and the feminine, of life and death, and of our place in the universe. I would say it's an ongoing struggle for the indigenous peoples of the world, really, as people of the land, people of these beautiful places, these last beautiful places, that we are protecting what's left. We're protecting the sacred, and we are on the front lines of so many different crises, whether it's climate crises or brutality by law enforcement, by the state, by lack of representation in the larger governance systems and in the greater societal narrative that has dispossessed and disenfranchised so many. Throughout all these different movements that I see across Turtle Island, but also largely across the world, as land defenders, as people who are on these created front lines, really, of defending what's left of our beautiful biodiversity and those spaces. One theme that seems to be consistent is that these movements are always led by women. They're led by women. They're led by two-spirit, by non-gendered, by the people who have a more balanced perspective on what life is and what life means. And it's that kind of leadership that I think is, it seems like it's trying to bring it back into balance. That we're seeing all these different non-traditional, quote unquote, voices and power and spirits in different spaces, whether that's, federal, local, state, tribal government, or whether that's at the forefront of movements and the centering of those voices and the centering of a different set of values, a set of values that reflects care in a different way. Instead of just looking at the dollars and cents and the, how do we balance an economy and continue on this system that's obviously killing so many people around the world. How do we create economies that actually reflect what care means? How do we be well with each other? How do we have healthy, happy people? Because regardless of whatever the economic structure is, unless we are healthy and we are, grounded in who we are and we have purpose, then we are creating economies that are deeply, deeply disparate in their treatment of different types of people and leave a lot of people out and leave these same systems continuing on the way that they are. I think, when it comes to the issue of class, you got 5% of the world's indigenous people holding 80% of the world's biodiversity. We're the people that are almost across the board not at the table. We're on the table. Our places are on the table. They don't necessarily know that. It's like more like a resource, or like we need this copper, we need this oil to go through your pipe, go through your territory. We need these trees, we need this lumber, we need, it's more like a conversation about that. But I think as we're seeing what's happening and watching the world change around us, that there are more folks that are waking up to different ways of living, different ways of being, different ways of thinking. And that includes balancing the masculine and the feminine in a real way. That includes looking at what an oligarchy does to people. What does that really result in? Does it result in a situation where our most oppressed are being treated with respect? No. I think I like to use the analogy of, Native people being the canary in the mine of humanity. What is it? Whenever I see a country that's supposed to be so great and so amazing and so powerful and has all these amazing things that it gives its people, how does it treat its indigenous people? How does it treat its Black folks? How does it treat its houseless folks? How does it treat the people that are forgotten, or else maybe not forgotten, but oppressed or disregarded? We can't be great as a nation unless we are great with one another and we treat one another with empathy and with equity. I am deeply grateful to be part of the advisory board of Matriarch and to see the uplifting of so many different women across Turtle Island. I'm grateful to see this change in a narrative and in a fabric of, we're going to center, instead of just sticking to these same extractive based economies, these patriarchal narratives that we're pushing back, and we're saying, no, it needs to be more balanced. It needs to include, quote unquote, BIPOC. It needs to include LGBTQA. It needs to include all these voices and these people that we need to hear from. I think that there's a lot of opportunity for growth. And I see this rising kind of happening, right? We saw it over the summer with George Floyd. We saw it in the streets and in the cities all over the United States, of people that had had enough, and people that were tired of the same old, and people that were also reacting to a pandemic keeping us all inside, and also keeping us in a lot of ways like together. We're apart, but we're together, right? We have this moment of reflection and thought, where does my food come from? Where does my water come from? How do I take care of my family when I can't be with them? How do I take care of my neighbors when I can't physically be there? What do we do in that instance? And, what is my relationship with this earth and with my relatives that are living with us, whether it's two-legged, four-legged, winged, fish? We have this moment of trying to figure that out. And I see that happening, that rising happening. And when I see something like a matriarch or a group or a diverse coalition of people that are trying to push for something more, it gives me so much hope to see that and to be part of that. So, I'm very hopeful, and I'm certainly hopeful when I see our movements being led, not just by women, but also by young people, and by young people that are not willing to accept the status quo as it is, and they're willing to challenge that status quo up front, and to use their clarity of thought and their lack of corruption and compromise to say it like it is, and to empower one another. It's a really powerful time to be in, and I'm deeply grateful to share the space with all of you, and wish you well in all of your journeys and your efforts across your life and all the lives that you touch. So, miigwech, deeply appreciate it.